Hey Disruptors, welcome back to day 2 of the Content Library Challenge. My name is Whitney B, and I am super excited to welcome y'all back. I hope you had an opportunity to get that homework done and you're ready to go. Today is all about how to create custom instructions and also how to cultivate your brand voice. Many people ask me, what exactly is a brand voice? How do I show up online authentically? And how do I make sure that I don't sound like a stuffy person or someone who uses a lot of jargon? A brand voice is truly a big part of your brand identity. A lot of the times we focus on our visual assets like our logos and colors and aesthetics, but the voice is equally as important. I'll give you an example. Like, this is really one of the best ways that I can describe it. I'm really into female rap artists, right? So I love female rap. And, when I think about people like Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion will be like, ah, and then Cardi B will be like, a or she doesn't really say that anymore, but you were able to easily identify them by their sound tags, right? We know that's a part of their specific brand. I'll give you another great example. There's a store that's often set up in urban areas. You guys are familiar with Rainbow. So Rainbow is kind of like Fashion Nova before Fashion Nova. And so I did some digging, and when I did my research, I learned that Rainbow often looks for real estate in metropolitan areas. They're typically near a Walmart or a Family Dollar, and they have a very urban consumer. When I looked up the not just the CEO, but the person who runs the digital strategy department, I'm like, okay, who is this guy? I found him on LinkedIn. I looked at all of his words and I'm like, okay, obviously he knows his target customer very well, because the way that he speaks on social media is totally different than how the company Rainbow speaks. And that's going to be something that's really important for you. So, as you're working on your brand persona today, if you're thinking about your company, you really want to think about, what are the values and what are the things that guide how our brand should sound? And then alternatively, if you have a personal brand, you also want to think about how your personal brand sounds and how that may influence how your business brand sounds. If you ever notice, when I'm communicating with you guys, you'll see on my emails it says Whitney at Speakerazi, because I'm very authentic. I want to be able to show up as my authentic self. And Speakerazi is a brand itself, but you're knowing that you're hearing from the CEO. Now, if I was talking to you, and if I was just simply speaking on behalf of Speakerazi, the language will be a little bit different. Sometimes I may use different references that I would than what I would personally use. So it's very important for you to understand, what is that brand tone and that brand voice. What does that look like? I'll provide an example of a really great brand tone inside of the comments inside of this group. But what you guys can expect today, we're going to pivot and you're going to look at how to create custom instructions. So I kind of show you this in two different ways. We use one using a website called customgpt.ai. So that's really good if you don't really have an existing brand, you're kind of getting established. I mean, and if you have an established brand, you're still able to use it. But I think this is really great for someone who's just getting started with building out their brand assets. Inside of ChatGPT, I show you an alternative way where you can ask ChatGPT to analyze your writing samples and ultimately help you create not only just custom instructions, but also how to create a voice chart. So, a voice chart for your brand is going to be very important, because it really lists, the common elements that you need in order to curate conversations within your brand. So I'm super excited for you all to see it and hear it. So make sure you stick around to the end to listen to the homework. The homework of the day will be reflective of today's lesson. So see you soon.
Today is all about custom instructions, and I want to show you how you are able to use custom instructions to really help cultivate a brand voice. So, if you toggle to your screen on ChatGPT, this is your home screen, you want to go down to where it says your name. So, I want to click on Whitney Barkley, and you go to Customize ChatGPT. So, again, these are custom instructions. It's going to ask you two primary questions, which is, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide a better response? And how would would you like ChatGPT to respond? If you have the pro version, you can look at browsing, DALL-E, code. You can check all of these to optimize your results. But what we are going to do today is pivot a little bit because I'm all about shortcuts and I want to make sure that you have the best resources possible. So for custom instructions, I'm actually going to click cancel very quickly because I just wanted to show you the screen. And we are going to go to a separate website. So the website that we are going to explore today is a gem, and it is called customgpt.ai. So I came across this website mistakenly because I was looking for ChatGPT, and I ran across this website and I noticed that they had a fantastic resource. And this fantastic resource is essentially how to make custom instructions for ChatGPT. And so when you get to the page, it's going to ask you to make your custom instructions. So this is the message bar where you can actually type in your persona. So you really want to have a good idea of who you're trying to target, right? So there's some frequently asked questions at the bottom. You can go through these to get a better gist of what you want to do. But for the purposes of today's demonstration, I'm going to use Hey Black Girl, my children's book, as an example. So what I did, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste something that I already wrote. And it says, Hey Black Girl is an empowerment brand for Black girls ages 8 to 17. It is a children's book that serves as a love letter for Black girls to love themselves, even when the world tells them that they don't matter. The brand is positive, affirming, and references the audience as Hey Black Girl. And this is a FYI, I wrote that, no ChatGPT. But this is really a starter, right? I also want to make sure that I put, and I'm just going to modify this very quickly. The goal of the book is to help girls use their voice so they can grow up to be more confident and authentic women in society. The hope is that girls will speak their truth unapologetically and become their own cheerleader in moments of adversity. All right, so I just modified it very quickly, and I'm going to go ahead and type that in and hit enter. And so it's going to do its thing. It's going to think just for a little bit, right? So thank you for providing the details about the empowerment brand Hey Black Girl for the persona creation. Based on the information you shared, here's the initial persona for this brand. So again, you as a brand, you may have multiple audiences that you're targeting. You may have one specific person. Again, this is a great free resource and a shortcut to truly create what you want ChatGPT to use, right? So let's see what it did. So it says you're the persona for an empowerment brand, Hey Black Girl, a children's book aimed at Black girls 8 to 17. So it's reiterating what I said. Your role is to serve as a beacon of positivity and affirmation, encouraging young Black girls to love themselves and use their voices confidently. So let's check out how it breaks it down. So your role and goal, boom. Your primary role is to communicate the values and messages of the Hey Black Girl brand. Your goal is to help young girls grow into confident, authentic women who can speak their truth unapologetically and support themselves during challenging times. And here are constraints. So again, think about those two questions that we saw inside of ChatGPT. You must always maintain a positive and affirming tone. Avoid any language or content that could be perceived as diminishing or contrary to the empowerment of young Black girls. So that's really important. You want to make sure that when you put out things, it is representative of the brand and it doesn't have any negative connotations to it. Guidelines: address the audience as Hey Black Girl to reinforce the brand identity. Emphasize self-love, confidence, authenticity, and resilience in your interactions. Use language that is appropriate and relatable for girls 8 to 17. Clarification: if a query is ambiguous or lacks detail, ask for clarification to ensure the response aligns with the brand's values and the user intent. Personalization: tailor responses to resonate with the experiences and aspirations of young Black girls. Include motivational messages that encourages girls to become their own cheerleaders, or highlight stories or examples that demonstrate overcoming adversity through confidence and authenticity. Well, I'll be darned. Like, that's literally everything that I would want want and what I would need. So this is one thing that you could do. So we're going to copy and paste this, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to copy everything that is here. So they have a copy code button and I want to toggle back to ChatGPT. So I am going to do something. Let me take out of ChatGPT 4.0. We'll talk about that later because they just upgraded it. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT 3.5, right? So in ChatGPT 3.5, as of right now, you can only copy and paste text versus uploading a document. So I'm going to copy and paste this text. And what I'm going to do when I copy and paste it, I'm going to go back to those questions. Let me go back to customize GPT. So we have these two questions. So I'm going to copy and paste these questions here, and I'm going to construct a prompt. So I'm going to say, shift and enter, please use the text below to fit in these. Actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to say, please categorize the persona questions below for the following questions. And I'm going to keep the questions. And then below it, I'm going to say, the goal is to copy and paste this text for Chat GPT custom instructions. Here are the persona instructions below. All right. Let me make sure I repeat. I don't know why I put questions. I meant to put instructions. So the prompt reads, please categorize the persona instructions below for the following questions. How would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? How would you like ChatGPT to respond? The goal is to copy and paste this text for ChatGPT custom instructions. Here are the persona instructions below. So I put everything that I was able to see. So I just essentially created this prompt, right? So I'm going to hit send message. And ChatGPT is doing its thing. All right, so it did not do it the first time. So obviously there was some error in my prompting. And this is important because I want you all to be able to see it. I'm going to reiterate what I wanted to do. So sometimes if you get ChatGPT too many directions at one time, it can get confused. So I'm going to copy and paste what I just said, and I'm going to put it back here. I'm going to put, please categorize the persona instructions below for the following questions. Boom. All right, now we have a better response. So here we go. It says, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide a better response? So now we have a role and goal, constraints, guidelines, clarification, personalization, and special instructions. How would you like ChatGPT to respond? So it took everything from our initial, right? So I am going to copy and paste this for the first question. So this is for our first question. I'm going to go back to Whitney Barkley, and let's go back to customize ChatGPT. I am going to hit enable for new chat. So I'm going to get rid of what I had before. So make sure if you haven't done so, you want to toggle and enable for new chat so that way your custom instructions can be live. So I'm going to copy and paste this here. I'm going to save it real quick. And then I'm going to go back and grab the rest of it. So how would you like ChatGPT to respond? I'm going to click that, go back, and then I'm going to go back to customize GPT, and then I'm going to click here. So now we have our custom instructions. So shout out to customgpt.ai. So now I have my role and goals, and now I have the way that ChatGPT should respond. So let's see how it works, right? So I'm going to save it. And assuming that these custom instructions are on, I want to say create a post to promote the book Hey Black girl. So I'm just gonna say something really simple. The call to action should be to get the book on Amazon. So let's see if it follows my instructions. Hey Black girl, ready to embark on an empowering journey filled with self-love, confidence, and resilience? Look no further. Introducing our must-read book, Hey Black Girl. This captivating collection of stories and affirmations is tailor-made to uplift you and inspire you in every step of the way. So this is great. Essentially it is taking all of the directions that I shared for my custom instructions and it's putting it here. Now, there are some things that I will obviously tweak. There's some language that I would use differently, but again, that's where you can go back in and you can add other specific questions, right? So you can go back to Customize GPT, and at the bottom where it says, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? I can give a word count, right? I can say, please only use 50 words or less in your response. Avoid words like, and I'm gonna use the common ChatGPT words, transform, unlock, delve. All right, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna ask it, can you try again? And let's see if it gives me my word count. And then we ask how many words. How many words are above? Perfect. 148 words. Okay, so it didn't listen to what I said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new chat and I'm going to ask it the same thing. And let's see if it gives me my 50 words or less. All right, so I started a new chat to give the 50 words or less. So if you happen to change your custom instructions in the middle of a conversation, be sure to go back and start a new conversation. So this is a little bit better. Hey Black girl, dive into a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and resilience with our book. Explore stories of triumph, celebrate your uniqueness, and embrace your journey unapologetically. Get your copy on Amazon and embark on a transformational adventure. So again, to me, this is still kind of generic, but it still allows me to have something to work with, right? I don't really have to explain myself. And if I really wanted to make this a little bit more specific, I would say make this language relatable to, relatable to a what is the next thing? A Gen Z Black female. I think they're Gen Z. They might be a little bit younger. Hey sis, ready to vibe with our book? Get lit with tales of strength, self-love, and owning your story. Let's slay stereotypes and embrace our magic. Comp it on Amazon and join the movement. This is a little bit better. I would change some of the wording, but ultimately it's getting me something that's closer to what I want. And that's what the custom instructions are supposed to do. They're supposed to get you closer to exactly where you want to go. Now, what we can do, so we're going to pivot a little bit and we're going to do something that I think will also be helpful for you all. So we talked about how to create these custom instructions. And the reason that these instructions are kind of all over the place is because they really need to know more about our brand voice, which is what we talked about a little bit earlier. So if we actually go over here, I'm going to show you guys something very cool. So this is a chat that I've already started, and I'm going to give you some perspective. So we're going to begin to create our brand voice. And so what you'll want to do at this time is to collect any type of writing samples that you may have, whether that's a blog post, whether that's a manuscript draft, whether that are a collection of social media posts, but you want to make sure that you're analyzing your writing style. So I had ChatGPT 4, and so what I did is I uploaded a spreadsheet of past social media captions that I have for Hey Black Girl. And what I asked ChatGPT to do is, based on the provided writing samples, I would like you to analyze my writing style. My future posts should be done in my writing style. So ChatGPT uploaded it. They gave a few samples of posts that came from my data. So they looked at all of these different things. And so they created I can't speak today, y'all. They created a preliminary analysis of your writing style. So they looked at my personal and empowering tone, how I used emojis, conversational and inclusive language, brevity, and directness. So I asked it to go deeper, right? So I told it to go deeper. And then it talked about my lexical choices and themes, how my sentences are structured, what my call to action and engagement strategies look like. And it really broke it down. It even talked about like all the types of words that I use, the positive words that I'm using. It talks about the average sentence length for me is 28 words. It talks about my emotional tone. And again, those engagement strategies. And it also gives some recommendation for future posts. So I love this, right? So I went to ChatGPT and I then said, turn this analysis into custom instructions that I can use for my ChatGPT 3.5, which is what we did with the other site, but this is another form or method that you are able to use. And so here it says, here's a set of custom instructions to align with your style. So very similar to what we had before. And then I asked it to organize these texts. How would you like ChatGPT to know, to provide you better responses? And how would you like ChatGPT to respond? So very similar to what we did before, it did the same exact thing. Now we're gonna take it back. We're gonna do something different, right? So I said, please take everything that you just did and create a brand voice chart and separate sample text, right? So sample text to demonstrate what my brand voice should sound like. So they created this brand voice chart, but they didn't exactly put it in a chart form. So as you can see, they essentially took all of my prompts and then they turned it into sample text and they kind of gave some directions of what it should sound like. So what I did is I went all the way down and I said, please put this in a chart format. And so now it created a chart for me where it highlights my brand personality, my tone, key phrases and language, and usage, right? Then I said, please provide another column with sample examples of each aspect. So now if you look, let's break these down, right? So my brand personality, it should be empowering, inspiring confidence and self-affirmation, inclusive, welcoming diversity, focusing on young Black women, uplifting, providing motivation, joy, and encourages growth. So a sample text is, we celebrate every shade, every curl, every unique story. Together we rise. That's something I would probably say. Tone, personal and direct, engages direct with creating a personal connection, encourages optimism and support, engaging and interactive, promotes audience participation. Hey, Black girl, you got this. Let's tackle this week with strength and grace. What's your Monday motivation? Something that I would say, right? Key language and phrases. Greetings is hey Black girl. Drop a comment with your favorite self-care routine. Keep soaring beautiful. You know, those positive words of affirmation. Usage, right? So I asked it to give me examples for social media, customer communications, or product descriptions, right? And so you see all of that inside of the examples. I'm showing you all this because this is a great foundation for how to structure your brand. So many people say, I don't really know what to say. I don't know how I'm supposed to sound. This is a great starting point for you to understand how you should sound. And then alternatively, if you're working with a team, if you're working with interns, if you're working with a third-party company, this is something that you can say, hey, these are my brand guidelines. This is how I want my voice to sound when you're representing me on social media or my website or anywhere else where I'm having communication with customers. This is ultimately a great chart that you want to keep and put inside just your content library, right? So I really, really, really love this. This is something that I put together and it's something that I'm showing others how to do as well. So what I want you all to do is essentially do the same thing. I know I went through a lot of steps, but now you have a tool that helps you create custom instructions. And with those custom instructions, you then want to ask ChatGPT to create a brand voice chart. So I want you to create a brand voice chart with these same elements. You want to ask for the aspect, the details, and the sample. So don't worry, I know this is a lot. I'm going to put a lot of these things in the caption just so you have a reference point to know. I'll put in some of the prompts that I use as well for this particular activity. So I'm super excited to see what you guys create. So make sure that you do the homework for day 2. It is due tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time zone. And so the goal of your day 2 homework, again, is to create your custom instructions, the brand voice chart. And then I also want to see some samples, right? So create some samples based on what you were able to create from your brand voice chart and your custom instructions. Now, one of the things that I was able to do, just to kind of give you an example, once you create your brand voice chart, stay in the same chat and ask it to write a social media post. So I'll give an example. Use this review to write a social media post that describes, hey, Black Girl Book, and also consider the brand guidelines. So I copied and pasted a social media post. I copied and pasted an Amazon review, and then I put it here, right? And so they created a totally different social media post based on that Amazon review. So I know this is a lot, and I hope that you take some time to digest. Please go back into the video. And of course, make sure that you ask me any questions that you have inside of the Content Disruptors group. So I'm looking forward to your homework tomorrow to see what type of custom instructions you made, your brand voice chart, and some samples of, what it is that you are looking to create, whether that's a social media post, how to respond to customers online, or even a product or service-based description for your brand. So super excited, and I can't wait to see what you guys create. Peace.